I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sakes.
to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well,
I would like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
Wait, did you catch that sheer panic in the room? The moment the leaked cameras are mentioned, the entire demeanor shifts. It's wild because we rarely see politicians of this magnitude completely break character and lose their cool on the official record. Notice how the lawyers instantly scramble to take things off the record? That's the ultimate legal damage control move. When you are sitting in a high-stakes deposition and suddenly decide to walk out because of a photo leak, it screams that the pressure in that room was already boiling over. Think about the gravity of this. She's practically daring them to hold her in contempt of Congress. It's not just a casual disagreement. It's a full-blown meltdown over transparency. You have to wonder what exactly was making her so defensive before the camera issue even came up, because the questioning is about to pivot to something entirely radioactive.
Trip.
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James?
Look closely at his body language here. Bill Clinton is sitting there under oath and casually admits to getting a neck rub from one of Epstein's known associates on a flight. He brushes it off like it's just a completely normal thing that happens on a business trip. But listen to the hesitation in his voice when he says he's not sure if it was Shantae Davies. For someone who was the commander-in-chief with a notoriously sharp encyclopedic memory, this sudden ambiguity is telling. And then, right after admitting the massage, he completely stonewalls the question about Little St. James Island. The stark contrast between his relaxed answer about the physical contact and the rigid, immediate denial about the island is textbook evasion. It's incredible how these specific, granular details are finally being forced out of them in a strict legal setting where they can't hide behind a PR team.
And how do you know Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at me.
time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors, trying to
and
get to the
I
bottom
was
of it.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event.
Hold on, rewind that in your mind. Nancy Mace is bringing actual physical receipts to this deposition. She's explicitly bringing up emails connecting Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein, and Hillary Clinton's fundraising efforts. Hillary immediately tries to use the 9/11 tragedy as a shield, which is a classic, deeply calculated political deflection tactic. Instead of just saying yes or no to the email evidence, she pivots to being a survivor and helping people. But Mace doesn't let up. She drops the absolute hammer that Lutnick was directly emailing Epstein's people to raise money for an intimate event for Hillary. You can practically feel the tension radiating through the screen. The fact that a paper trail allegedly exists linking her fundraising apparatus to Epstein's network is massive. And the way she reacts, indignant, defiant, completely refusing to engage with the substance of the emails, reveals exactly how dangerous this line of questioning is.
An email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to public. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look-
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it.
This is where the wheels completely fall off the wagon. It devolves into a straight-up screaming match. Nancy Mace is telling her, "I'm doing the job you refuse to do," and Hillary snaps right back with pure aggression. You never see this level of raw, unfiltered hostility in these kinds of hearings without someone cutting the microphone. Hillary's strategy here is pure bulldozing. She refuses to yield her time, insists on finishing her completely derailed answer, and tries to dominate the room through sheer volume and assumed authority. It's an aggressive power play. She's trying to remind everyone in that room that she was the Secretary of State. But Mace is completely unbothered by the intimidation tactics. The friction here is incredible because it exposes how used to total control these elite figures are, and how violently they react when someone actually holds their feet to the fire.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Now, this is a massive, unexpected twist. Bill Clinton, of all people, goes on the official record to completely clear Donald Trump of any involvement with Epstein's illicit activities. Let that sink in for a second. Given the intense political rivalry and the constant media narrative trying to forcibly link Trump to Epstein's crimes, having Bill Clinton explicitly state under oath that Trump never did anything improper is a total bombshell. He even says he wants it all out there so everyone can see the absolute truth. It makes you wonder why this specific, definitive clip isn't being played on a loop across every single major news network. When a fierce political opponent gives an absolute exoneration like this in a sworn deposition, it completely shatters the mainstream talking points. It's a rare moment of absolute clarity in a sea of mudslinging, forcing a total reevaluation of the narrative.
How long is I can only do one more, right there in the middle. Yes, sir.
Is there a diplomatic exchange going on right now between the U.S. and Iran? Any exchanges whatsoever outside of
No, not at this time. I mean, look, we always have people that reach out from inside of governments. You don't know if they're authorized to reach out or not. They're suffering a tremendous amount of damage. Honestly, again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now. Someone was screaming, how long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve those objectives, and we will achieve those objectives. The world will be a safer place when we're done with it.
Shifting gears completely, look at Marco Rubio's demeanor in this hallway. This isn't typical political posturing or camera grabbing. This is a grim, direct, and terrifying warning. When a sitting senator comes out of a highly classified intelligence briefing and flatly states that the hardest hits are yet to come, you need to pay very close attention. He's explicitly promising that the next phase of the U.S. military response against Iran is going to be even more punishing than the hundreds of bombs already dropped. There's no diplomatic sugarcoating, no vague promises of de-escalation. He's basically telling the press that what we've seen so far is just the opening salvo. The gravity of this statement cannot be overstated. You can hear the absolute certainty in his voice. They aren't backing down, and the entire region is bracing for an unprecedented level of military force.
They think with an air superiority campaign, which is currently working, but no, let me finish. And pointless, with respect, Iran has killed American service members and personnel. They have maimed our people. They have committed terrorism against our people time and time again. They are the destabilizers of the Middle East. This is not starting a pointless war. This is ending a regime that had.
Listen to how Scott Jennings completely dismantles the pointless war argument right to the anchor's face. He hits back with cold, hard facts about American service members being killed and maimed. He's dragging the brutal reality of Iranian proxy terrorism directly to the forefront of the debate. But the most crucial, jaw-dropping part of his argument is the ultimate end goal he casually drops. This is not starting a pointless war. This is ending a regime. That is a massive tectonic shift in public rhetoric. It suggests that the military objective isn't just basic retaliation or containment anymore. It's full-blown regime change. When mainstream analysts start openly talking about toppling the Iranian regime on national television, it signals that the entire geopolitical strategy has crossed the Rubicon. It's a stark reminder of the immense, world-altering stakes involved right now.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen.
Finally, Marco Rubio drops the core justification for the entire preemptive strike strategy, an imminent threat. He explains that classified intelligence showed Iran was preparing an immediate, devastating attack on U.S. assets, and the military made the agonizing call to hit first rather than absorb the blow. This completely rewires the context of the engagement. It wasn't just an angry, retaliatory strike for past actions. It was a desperate defensive maneuver to prevent mass American casualties. Think about the sophisticated intelligence apparatus required to make that call in real time. He's laying out the brutal calculus of modern war. Wait and lose American lives, or strike first and face the massive international fallout. It's a heavy burden, but his explanation makes the administration's incredibly aggressive posture make total sense. The chessboard has completely changed, and the U.S. is moving pieces before the enemy even blinks. CTA finish.